If today felt heavy before your feet even hit the floor good, that pressure is proof you're alive, not done. Marcus Aurelius led an empire while storms howled inside his chest. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This is not poetry, it's policy. Today isn't a lesson, it's a reckoning. 5 brutal Stoic rules to rip your energy back from the world that feeds on it. Breathe, shoulders down, eyes steady. Let's begin. Rule 1, seal the leaks. Energy is bled, not stolen. Imagine this: a warrior in battle, standing tall, armor gleaming, sword steady. No enemy could pierce his chest, no strike could cut him down. And yet after the fight, he collapses. Not from a single blow, but from 1,000 tiny cuts he ignored. Small leaks of blood, drip by drip, until there was nothing left to fight with. That is how most of us burn out in modern life. Not with explosions, but with drips. Not with collapse, but with slow erosion. Most people think burnout is about working too hard, pulling all-nighters, or some dramatic breakdown. But research tells another story. Burnout has been classified as a syndrome, and over 77% of professionals report experiencing it. The majority did not snap overnight. They bled energy silently through micro-betrayals of their own instincts. The text they knew they should not answer. The room they knew they should not walk into. The yes they knew should have been a no. They did not lose their power. They handed it out teaspoon by teaspoon. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are pained by anything external, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment." The lesson is clear. The pain is not in the event, but in the leak. It is in how you let external noise hijack your internal fortress. Energy is not stolen, it is surrendered. Think about your own life. There are people leaks. The friend who never asks how you are, but expects you to carry their chaos, leaving you hollow after every conversation. There are digital leaks, the constant notifications, the doom scrolling, the habit of checking emails 50 times a day. The average person touches their phone more than 2,000 times daily. That is not focus, that is hemorrhaging. And there are promise leaks, the moments you said yes to projects, coffees, or favors when your gut screamed no. Peace built on self-betrayal always collapses. The Stoic move is to audit the leaks just as an empire audits its gates. Patrol the borders of your attention. Ask yourself who leaves you lighter and who leaves you hollow. Notice where your attention rots and cut it off. Name the promises that were lies to yourself and delete them. Each night, take 5 minutes with a notebook. Write down 3 leaks from your day. Circle 1. Then commit to cutting it tomorrow. No apology, no explanation. Just cut. That is how you patch the armor. Think of Marcus Aurelius, himself emperor of Rome, leading legions, managing crises. Do you think he could afford leaks if he wasted energy on every insult, every piece of gossip, or every trivial demand? Rome would have collapsed. Instead, he returned to his journal nightly, not for poetry, but for survival. That journal was his audit, his way of sealing the leaks. The cost of ignoring this rule is brutal. You do not collapse from one betrayal, you collapse from 1,000 ignored instincts. Every yes when you wanted to say no, every text answered when silence would have served you, every minute given to chaos that did not deserve you. People do not break you, they drain you. They bleed you teaspoon by teaspoon until the fire inside turns to ashes. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. The average person makes 35,000 decisions every single day, and each one consumes energy. Every unnecessary yes is not free, it is a leak. No wonder you wake up already tired. No wonder your soul feels hollow by noon. You are not broken, you are bleeding. So tonight before bed, write down 3 leaks from your day. Circle 1. Tomorrow, cut it. Block the number. Unsubscribe. Say no. Do it without guilt. And when you do, remind yourself with a declaration, "I do not bleed for noise." Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery begins with plugging the leaks. You cannot lead, you cannot create, and you cannot fight if you are bleeding energy in silence. So seal the leaks, my friends. Because every drop of energy you waste on the wrong people, the wrong places, and the wrong promises is stolen from the person you were meant to become. Burnout does not come from explosions, it comes from drips. Close the valve. Rule 2. Your attention is your kingdom guard, just with teeth. Picture this. You wake up, the sun is barely rising, and before your feet even touch the ground, your hand reaches for your phone. Within seconds, you are scrolling through news headlines, notifications, and emails. Your heart starts racing. You are angry at politics, anxious about money, jealous of strangers online, and the day has not even begun. That, my friends, is the silent theft of your kingdom, your attention. And if you do not guard it, you lose more than focus. You lose your life. In today's world, your attention is the most valuable currency. Forget gold, forget oil. Attention powers the entire economy. Companies fight billion-dollar wars for a slice of it. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, these are not just apps, they are battlefields. The average person spends almost 7 hours online every single day. That adds up to more than 100 days per year. Imagine the empire you could build if even half of that energy was directed inward instead of leaked outward. And here's the kicker. You don't lose attention in one big crash. You bleed it drip by drip. A notification here, a text there, a quick scroll that turns into 45 minutes. Suddenly your focus is hijacked. You wonder why you are tired, anxious, and unmotivated. It is not because you are weak. It is because you handed over the keys to your kingdom. Seneca warned long ago, there is nothing the busy man is less busy with than living. He was pointing at us 1,000 years ago. Busy, distracted, consumed with noise, but not truly alive. If your attention is scattered, your life is scattered. If your attention is enslaved, your soul is enslaved. Think about the leaks in your own life. Digital distractions rob you silently. Studies show it takes more than 20 minutes to refocus after a single interruption. That is not harmless, that is theft. Drama loops drain you through endless gossip debates and online arguments about things you cannot control. Doom scrolling is even worse. Research shows it can increase anxiety and depression by a third. You are not consuming information, you are consuming poison. So what is the Stoic move? Build a perimeter. A king does not guard his castle by accident. He builds walls, sets patrols, locks the gates. You must do the same with your attention. Delay your devices in the morning, no phone for the first 30 minutes of the day. Own your mind before the world invades it. Follow the one-screen rule, only one window open when working. Multitasking is not strength, it is fragmentation, and studies show it lowers IQ as much as sleep deprivation. Build a block list. Identify the sites that waste your time and shut them down during work hours. Then practice deep work rituals, 3 focused blocks of 50 minutes with short resets to breathe, stretch, and recharge. Think of Rome. If its gates were left unguarded, enemies would not storm in with armies. They would slip in quietly unnoticed. The empire would not fall in a single night, it would crumble from within. That is your mind. Every unchecked distraction is a Trojan horse inside your gates. Tomorrow morning, test this. Leave your phone in another room when you wake up. Spend 30 minutes in silence, read, journal, breathe, or simply sit. Before touching the digital world, decide your one most important task for the day. This is not just morning routine fluff. This is survival. It is the act of reclaiming your kingdom. The numbers are staggering. The human brain processes 74 gigabytes of information daily, the equivalent of watching 16 movies. No wonder you are drained. The average person checks email 74 times per day. Every check is another leak, another theft. Yet studies show that top performers who carve out even 2 to 3 hours of deep focus double the output of their distracted peers. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Guarding attention is not about being productive. It is about protecting your power. If you do not control what enters your mind, someone else will. So here is your challenge. Tonight, write down one app you will delete tomorrow, one site you will block, one person you will mute or stop following. Then declare it aloud, I guard the gate. Yes, people may mock you. Epictetus warned that if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. People will call you boring, antisocial, extreme. Let them. Peace always looks strange to those addicted to chaos. So say it with me, I guard the gate. Your attention is your kingdom, my friends. You are either the ruthless king who defends it or the servant who hands over the keys. Choose wisely, because what you focus on, you fuel, and what you fuel becomes your fate. Guard your gates with teeth. Rule 3, stop explaining yourself. Boundaries need enforcement, not essays. Imagine this. You say no to someone, politely, firmly, and suddenly you feel guilty. Your fingers hover over the keyboard, and before you know it, you've typed a paragraph, then a second one, then a third explaining, justifying, defending. By the time you hit send, you've given away more energy to the explanation than to the very boundary you were trying to protect. That is not strength. That is leakage. And the Stoics would tell us every time you overexplain, you bleed. Here's the brutal truth. You are not a press release. You are not a courtroom defendant. You do not owe the world a multi-slide presentation on why you chose peace over chaos, distance over dysfunction, or silence over noise. But modern culture conditions us to explain. We fear rejection. We fear being misunderstood. We fear being labeled cold, rude, or arrogant. So we overcompensate with paragraphs, with essays, with apologies we never needed to give. And the hidden cost is simple. Every explanation leaks power. When you defend your boundary to someone who thrives on crossing it, you've already lost. Epictetus once wrote, "If anyone tells you that someone speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said. Simply answer, he was ignorant of my other faults, or he would not have mentioned only these." Translation, stop auditioning for other people's approval. If someone misunderstands you, let them. If they gossip about you, let them. If they slap the wrong label on you, let them choke on their assumptions. Your energy is not a debate, and modern data proves this habit of over-explaining is everywhere. 70% of people admit they feel uncomfortable saying no without adding a justification. Workplace surveys show employees spend an average of 4 hours per week writing explanation emails just to soften boundaries. That's more than 200 hours a year, 5 full work weeks wasted on defending instead of living. Psychologists call this the approval addiction cycle. The more you explain, the more you train people to demand explanations. So what's the Stoic move? Replace paragraphs with policies. Create default lines that are short, sharp, and unapologetic. One example that doesn't work for me. Apply the 2-reply rule. If you explain once, repeat once, and the person still pushes, disengage. And perhaps the most powerful move of all, let silence speak. Don't rush to fill the void. Let your absence echo louder than words. Think of Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome. Millions of subjects, endless demands, relentless politics. Imagine if he had explained himself to every critic, every senator, every gossip. He would never have had time to govern, to lead, or to write. Instead, he reminded himself, be indifferent to what makes no difference. Not everyone deserves an answer. Not every boundary requires a paragraph. So here's your ritual. The next time someone pressures you for an explanation, pause, breathe. Answer once, simply, that doesn't work for me. If pressed again, repeat once, I've already answered. If they keep pushing, disengage. Step back, leave silence. Try this 3 times this week and track how it feels. Notice how silence feels heavy to others, but freeing to you. Research even backs this up. A Harvard study found that executives who use fewer words when setting boundaries were rated as 32% more authoritative than those who over-explain. Fewer words, more weight. Seneca knew this too when he wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most of your fear of not explaining is imagined. You fear their reaction more than the reality of holding your ground. So say this aloud, my energy is a declaration, not a debate. Tonight, look back at one situation where you over-explain. Rewrite it into one sentence. That doesn't work for me? Then commit to testing it once in the next 48 hours. And when you do declare it, no more essays, just boundaries. Because every explanation is an energy leak. Boundaries don't need essays, they need enforcement. When you stop auditioning for approval, you reclaim your power. So the next time you feel the urge to justify yourself, stop, breathe, remember Epictetus, and let silence speak. Rule 4, master your mornings. The forge before the fire. The battle of your life isn't lost at 3 in the afternoon in some meeting. It isn't lost at 9 at night when you collapse on the couch drained. The real defeat happens at 7 in the morning, the moment you surrendered your first thoughts of the day to a glowing rectangle. Before your feet even touched the ground, you scrolled. You reacted. You consumed. And without realizing it, you handed over your sword. The Stoics understood this long before we did. The morning is the forge. It is the furnace where your energy, your discipline, and your willpower are either forged like iron or shattered like glass. You don't rise with strength by accident. You train for it. You earn it. You build it before the noise begins. If your mornings are chaos, your life will echo that chaos. If your mornings are disciplined, your life will echo that discipline. Modern science proves the point. A Harvard study found that people who spent their first hour offline and in intentional routines reported nearly a quarter more focus and productivity throughout the day. A Stanford survey revealed that most high performers had some form of consistent morning ritual. On the other hand, doom scrolling first thing in the morning correlates with a sharp rise in daily stress. The research is clear: what you do at dawn shapes everything that follows. Marcus Aurelius wrote it himself. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being. For the Stoics, discipline wasn't about aesthetics. It was armor. They didn't romanticize mornings. They weaponized them. Marcus, as emperor, didn't have the luxury of lazy starts. Every morning was strategy. Seneca reminded us it's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. And mornings are where most of that waste begins. So what does a disciplined morning look like? You don't need 3-hour influencer routines. You need 30 minutes of deliberate action. Start with 5 minutes of breath and posture. Sit upright, practice steady box breathing, and remind yourself of the privilege of being alive. Then 10 minutes for the body push-ups, squats, or a brisk walk, because energy begins in the body before it sharpens the mind. Follow with 10 minutes for reflection. Journal 2 lists: what is in your control today and what is out of your control. Circle the first list. That is your battlefield. Finally, take 5 minutes for money. Review your budget, cancel a useless subscription, or move a small amount to savings. Because money chaos quickly becomes energy chaos. In just 30 minutes, you forge armor before the fire of the day. Admiral William McRaven once said, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. Why? Because mornings stack momentum. One disciplined act leads to another. One win before breakfast creates a chain of wins across the day. And Marcus Aurelius knew this too. His empire stretched from Britain to Mesopotamia, but his first battle wasn't against Rome's politics. It was against his own hesitation at dawn. Rise, he told himself. Do the work of a human being. The numbers are staggering. More than 90% of people who build a morning ritual stick to their goals longer than those who don't. Entrepreneurs with disciplined mornings are far more likely to report financial clarity. And when you realize the average human makes 35,000 decisions per day, you start to see why the first 10 or 15 matter so much. They prime the entire system. So here's your challenge. Tonight, design tomorrow's morning in advance. Write down exactly what you'll do in each short block. Place your phone in another room. Put water and a journal next to your bed. And when you wake up, follow the plan before the world invades you. Do this for 7 days and track your energy each morning. Watch it climb. Marcus wrote, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. That's not sweet sentiment, it's strategy. Gratitude was his armor against apathy. Say this aloud: I build my weather, because your morning sets the climate of your day. So tonight, choose one thing you will read, one thing you will do for your body, one thing you will journal, and one small step you will take for your money. Then test it tomorrow. And when you do declare it, my morning is my forge. Mornings are not small, they are everything. If you surrender them, you surrender your day. But if you forge them, if you breathe, move, reflect, and act, you walk into the fire armored. So tomorrow, don't scroll. Don't react. Rise like Marcus. Command your dawn. Because mornings are not routines. They are war councils. Rule 5, money and momentum make discipline visible. Most people don't burn out because they're weak. They burn out because they live in financial fog. Chaos in money always bleeds into chaos in the mind. You can't focus when debt is screaming in the background. You can't build momentum when every paycheck feels like a survival scramble. And you can't live with stoic calm when your bank account feels like a battlefield. The Stoics didn't chase wealth for luxury. They studied money for discipline. Because wealth without wisdom is slavery. But wealth managed with discipline, that's freedom. Marcus Aurelius warned that true wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Here's the brutal truth. Your energy collapses when your finances are foggy. You might think your stress comes from your job, your relationships, your schedule, but research shows financial stress is the #1 driver of anxiety in modern life. A recent survey revealed that 65% of adults list money as their top source of stress. More than half of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency without debt, and people who don't track their spending report significantly lower life satisfaction. This isn't just about money, it's about energy. Every dollar unmanaged becomes a silent leak. Every bill ignored becomes a weight on your chest. For the Stoics, money wasn't about status. It was about self-mastery. Epictetus said wealth belongs not to the one who has it, but to the one who enjoys it. And to enjoy wealth, you must first manage it. That's why we don't treat money as math. We treat it as discipline. You can see momentum, you can feel. Because discipline isn't real until it's visible in numbers and habits and results. So how do you do it? Through a simple rhythm, 3 rules, 3 numbers, 3 constraints. Each day you hold yourself to non-negotiables, you move your body, you carve 1 block of deep work, and you spend 5 minutes on money logging, 1 expense, making 1 transfer, reflecting once. Each week you track 3 numbers, what you spent, what you saved, and how many hours of focused work you actually defended. And each month you enforce 3 constraints, a few no-spend days, an automatic transfer into savings or investments, and strict limits on social media because wasted time is wasted money. This isn't budgeting. This is battle rhythm. Think of a soldier. He doesn't wait until war to prepare weapons. He sharpens daily, checks inventory, and keeps his armor ready. Because in battle, chaos punishes the unprepared. Your money is no different. If you live without system, every emergency becomes war. Every bill feels like an ambush. But when you've trained your financial discipline daily, no storm can break you. Warren Buffett once said, "Do not save what is left after spending, spend what is left after saving." That's stoicism in finance order before chaos. And the data is undeniable. People who automate their savings build wealth twice as fast as those who rely on willpower. Simply writing down expenses reduces overspending by nearly 20%. And financially disciplined individuals report more mental clarity in their daily lives. Money is not about greed, it's about momentum. And momentum compounds. So here's the ritual. Tonight, write down your 3 daily non-negotiables. Track 3 numbers for the week. Choose 3 constraints for the month. That's it. Not spreadsheets, not endless apps, just visible discipline. Marcus Aurelius once said that what stands in the way becomes the way. Every obstacle, every debt, every bill, every impulse isn't an enemy. It's a teacher. The friction is the forge. Say this aloud, I compound in silence. And here's a quick drill you can do in 90 seconds. Take 10 deep breaths. Write down 3 things you can control today. 1 income choice, 1 expense, 1 habit. Cut 1 leak, cancel, unsubscribe, block. Make 1 money move, transfer a small amount, automate a payment, or close a card. Then repeat your mantra, I command my energy. Do this every day. In 30 days, you won't just feel better. You'll see the difference in your accounts. And more than that, you'll feel the discipline in your bones. Stoic Friends energy isn't only mental, it's financial. If your money is chaos, your life will echo that chaos. But when your money has discipline, you have momentum. And momentum compounds into freedom. Start small, stay consistent, make discipline visible. Subscribe to Making Life Better for the next Stoic rule. And remember, money isn't about wealth. It's about energy. Guard it, direct it, compound it. And like Marcus, lead not just with power, but with clarity.